So whenever you're on side control, it's to attack when the guy is just here with everything, his arms closed and just waiting to explode. It's quite hard, you know. The more I'm able to open his arms so I can start attacking, the less he has of defense here. So it's always make sure I want to take my time when I'm on this position, and I want to really start setting up. I want to slowly build up my attacks. If I start to control his body and I'm able to start attacking, even if I don't get an attack, most likely I'll still keep my side control. In order that if I just go for an attack and I don't have the control, most likely he'll get out. So it's really important that you build up your attack and you start controlling him using your body. So when I'm here, if I keep my hands tight together and I'm squeezing the guy, it's easy for me to hold him down. But it's really hard for me to attack because both of my hands are tied down, holding the guy from this position. So what do I like? I always like to learn how to control the guy using just my body. Okay, every time I'm here, he moves his hip out, I'm gonna move my knee. If he moves and I don't move, I'm already staying one step behind. Another thing is very important that to keep both your knees. So I want to keep one knee close to his head, one knee on his hip the whole time. The knee on the hip is really important to be touching his hip all the time. And what I never like to do is extend my legs out. It's a very common mistake. You see guys doing this, they think they're putting more weight on the guy, but you're maybe putting a little bit more weight, but also you're giving the guy a lot of escape to get out. So it's not about how much weight you put, it's about how much space are you giving him to escape. So I want to always shut the gap. So if he moves, I move. If he opens a little bit of the space, I move my knee to shut it. Okay, and then I'm gonna start using my hands and my body also to start attacking. One thing that I like to do is always clear this arm in front of me. So I come with my hand under his elbow, control his wrist. Okay, now I'm gonna use my shoulder against his arm. I can take this hand out, I don't need it anymore. I like to keep it on the mat in case the guy bridges, I'm always able to move. Okay, now I want my shoulder to go close to his wrist, and then I can put my weight forward, opening his arm. Okay, if my shoulder is on his elbow, sometimes I cannot have the same pressure here. So I want to go closer to his wrist. Now I drive my shoulder forward. Okay, now his hand is loose. It's very easy for me to start pushing and clearing it out. Okay, so the moment I clear one hand, it's already much better for me to attack. Once I'm here, I cannot be so close like this because he'll move his arm, he's gonna grab his own gi, you know, he's gonna start giving me a lot of trouble. So the moment I isolate his arm, I want to make sure I keep isolated. I don't want him to grab nothing else. So the moment I put it on the outside, I want to be away from his body. Okay, this way he cannot bend it anywhere, he cannot grab his own gi, and I like to grab my collar and stay here. Okay, so sometimes I put my forehead on the ground, but I'm staying away from his body. Okay, now from here, once I decide, I'm gonna put my hand on the mat and I'm gonna start sitting up. So once I'm here, I push myself up and I want my head to go high. Here, okay? This, don't worry about keeping his arms so tight. Again, the problem is we start to go so tight, we start to come down, now he goes, he starts grabbing his own gi. Now for you to attack his arm, you'll be much harder. So I want to be high. I lift my hip and I'm here. This hand I go, grab on his armpit, I close my elbow, and this, doesn't have to be so tight. He doesn't have the right angle to pull his arm, so this arm can be actually quite relaxed. Now from here, I'm gonna walk around and go for the armbar. So I want to put my knees together, sort of keep this tight, keep his back off the mat, from here, knees together, leg up. Look how my head stays tight, not giving him the chance to bring it down and grab something. Pivot. Try to keep your hip as low as you can. Then you fall for the finish without giving the chance of him defending himself. So I'm here on side control. Use your body to control the guy, always closing the gap. I'm gonna start attacking. I always like to attack this arm a lot. So I'll come under, control his shoulder. I pull his shoulder into me a little bit, and now I start using my shoulder. So I want my shoulder to move from his elbow to closer to his wrist. So from here I move. Now I push forward, opening his elbow. The moment I go to push his hand out, I catch and I move my body away from his. I want to keep my body flat and away so he doesn't pull the arm. It's really hard for him to do anything from here. I hold the collar and then I stay here. Now I'm going to start getting up. And on the mat, start sitting up. When you sit up, keep your head high. Control his armpit, pull into you. I close my elbow into me and I have a great position here. It's really hard for the guy to escape. Okay, my head stays high. I'm not coming low. I'm not giving him the chance of grabbing something to defend his arm. So from here, knees together, put the other one up. I want to toes on the mat. When I pivot from here, it's much harder. Toes on the mat. I'm going to pivot, stay as low as I can. Sitting, wait for the arm there. So now I'm gonna start opening his arms, going to north-south a little bit. So let go, I'm gonna over his head, and every time I grab over, what I like to do, I like to lift his arm a little bit and grab underneath. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the other side and I wanna go under the other arm as well. So from here, I first move my hand to this side, put it next to his hip, blocking his knee. I start coming this way. Once I get it, this hand is gonna move under his arm and grab his gi. So now I can choose whatever side I want to lift him. So I'm gonna use my body to push him that way. Okay, my hip, my knee comes under his head and I sit on my knees. So I'm sitting on my heels, his head is on top of my leg, and I'm still holding on both sides. Okay, I'm holding his gi here, and I'm holding his gi here. This is extremely difficult for the guy to escape to any side, okay, because I'm having control of his head and I'm having control of both of his arms, okay. Usually from here, the guy picks one side and he starts turning to that side. So this is good. I want to attack whatever arm he's giving to me. So whatever side he decides to turn to escape, if he starts turning away from me, I pull the bottom hand into me and I sink this one deeper. Now I switch, I grab 1, 2, and I have the kimura from this position. If he starts to turn this way, I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. I turn my shoulder forward, sinks this arm in, and I grab the kimura on the other side. So from this angle, I can attack the kimura to both sides. Whatever the guy decides to start turning, I will start attacking that way. When I have the kimura, what do I want? I want to keep his back off the mat. So I'm gonna bring my leg up, step, okay? This knee is really important for you to keep pushing his back that way, okay? So I don't want to open this knee. So this knee stays pushing him here. I have the grip. A lot of times the guy grabs something to try to defend. From here, I break, pulling away from his body. Then slowly, I go for the finish. I have the arm, but I still don't have the finish. A lot of times you see guys getting here and they start extending the arm like this. Look, both of my arms are fully extended and I still cannot finish him. So then I start dragging my weight and then I start losing my balance. So from here, whenever you go for the finish, what do I want to do? I want his elbow to touch my stomach. Okay, so I grab here, his elbow touches, I push with my hip forward. Now just a little movement, you have the finish. So it's not about how flexible the guy is, it's what angle are you squeezing his arm. So once you break, elbow to your stomach, hip forward, just a little bit of pressure is enough, other than extending both hands and giving the space for the guy to escape. So I'm here, I'm on the straight sides, so go over and lift his shoulder up a little bit and I come under. Every time I come under, I like to grab the guy's gi here. Okay, wherever I can grab, I grab it. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Blocks his hip first, I move this way a little bit, and I start getting under his arm, control. Now I can lift him to either side that I want, it's up to you. I use my whole body behind it, I start lifting, I drive my knee under his head and I sit back. Okay, from here I can adjust my grip a little bit if I feel the need to. Okay, if the guy turns and I can attack whatever way he's turning, but if he's not turning, I can choose, I can force him to keep turning that way, the way he's already turning. So I'm gonna start pushing him with my hip, sinking the hand deeper. Let go the bottom one, control, 1, 2. I have the Kimura. Okay. From here, I want to step over his head. So I'm gonna bring my legs together first, knee over the head, then I bring the other leg up. It's really important this knee over the head, because if he clears the head that way, he can bring this elbow down, and that's the way he'll look forward to escape. So as I'm here, I want to break his grip. If I try to pull that way first, it's really hard for me to break his grip. So I pull away from it, breaking the grip, so I go for the finish. Remember, when I go for the finish, the elbow touches my body, the hip drives into his shoulder. Now just a little bit of pressure, it's enough to get the finish from the position. So I'm gonna look forward to set up the Kimura again. So I grab over the shoulder, I rotate to the side, I go under his arm, and I make him turn this way. Sometimes, when I let go to grab, I feel the guy's already grabbing the grip too tight, I might have a hard time, maybe he's already trying to turn into me a little bit to defend. So what I'm gonna do is I want to trap this arm controller. So what I'm gonna do, the hand that's under his arm, okay, is the one that I'm gonna make the grip. So I go over his head, grab his lapel, pull, and grab just like this. Okay. So with my palm, my thumb should be pointing away from him. So I pull, grab, and then I put my body over. This is extremely difficult for the guy to get this arm out now, and I have a great position to attack him from here, because he has one arm locked, and it will be just one hand against one hand, but I have the advantage to be able to move in, move out. I have my head, I have my weight to put on top of him here. So one attack that I like to do a lot from this is I want to get him back down. So from here, I start moving away, get him back down, and now I grab right on top, grab his collar. If the guy tries to block with his hand, I grab his hand, I put my head over. Now his hand is stuck. This will give me enough time to grab the collar. Okay. By the time he gets the hand out, he needs to extend the hand that way to come back. By the time this all happens, my grip's already there. So if I'm trying to grab it, the guy starts bringing the hand in to defend, go over his hand, push down, put your ear over. Now grab. By the time he gets out, it's already too late. From here, my elbow comes down to the mat, and this one comes up. So I do this with my elbows to get it finished. So I went for the Kimura, I started getting here, I got him sideways. We get this position, the guy's holding really strong there. I know I might have a difficult time. Maybe I go for the Kimura, I'm here, I'm trying to pull, the guys, I'm not really being able to break the grip. I switch, grab the lapel, and feed it. Okay? So I'm grabbing over. It's extremely difficult for the guy to get this hand out. I come back to my side. From here, I'm gonna start squeezing. Okay? I want to pull him. If he's too much sideways, I cannot grab the far collar. So I have to walk him back a little bit, pull him down. Now, I can go. If the guy tries to bring the hand, don't go for the collar anymore. Forget, go over his hand and grab over like this. Pull down a little bit, pull your head over it. Now you can come back and grab. The guy, it's hard for him to take this hand out, and by the time he gets out, you already made your grip. So once you grab, you want this elbow to come down to the mat, the other one to go straight up to get it finished. So you want your elbows to turn this way. So we're gonna go back to our Kimura. I came to the side, I walked this way, I got my hand down there, I walk, the guy's already defending, you know? Like I talked about, sometimes you can go for the Kimura, and if you cannot go, you can come back, or you can go for your grip right away. So I can go here, try to finish, or open and grab, okay? This is extremely difficult for the guy to escape. Sometimes if I might try to bring the guy down, he's not really coming down, maybe I cannot grab the collar. There's other attacks that I like to do from here. So I'm gonna come under his head, grab his shoulder, okay? Now I'm gonna drive with my hip, making him sit down. Once I make him sit down, it's a lot easier for me to get my hand in. Anytime the guy defends with the same side, it's really hard for him to defend properly. Okay, always the best defense when you go the hand across. So there's always really insist on getting that gap and the hand in. Now once I get here, I have two ways that I like to finish with this grip. I can either walk back and make him sit down. Okay, once I get to this position, I cannot extend my arm. I need to make him flat. So I like to put my chin on his shoulder. This grip, I'm gonna walk back to circling that way. Okay, so I'm here, chin on the shoulder, hold. I'm gonna circle, making him, I want this shoulder to go down to the mat. Now from here, I lift my elbow, pulling my hand back, doing this motion from here. So I don't want to extend my hand. Sometimes, a lot of times I start extending, I give the space, the guy pops the head right out. So it's very important that once you make this grip, keep your shoulder on the back of his neck, chin on his shoulder, circle back, put your hand, make him flat. From here, my shoulder goes forward, my elbows come back this way. Once I have him sitting up, and I control from here. If I might try to pull the guy down, he puts that hand on the mat, he's fighting to stay up, I can stay from here. Okay? I'm gonna just shift his weight a little bit, and I'm gonna throw my leg over his leg. Here. Okay? Now from here, I don't wanna sit back and allow him to put his weight on top of my leg. I open my knee and I sit away from him, throwing my leg over his shoulder. Also keeping this grip the whole time. If I can throw my leg over, perfect. If he gets caught in the middle of his leg, no problem. Keep my elbow closed, I extend, push it away from him to get it finished. So from here, as I get this, my leg position is really important. So I shift my weight to one side, throw this leg over. I cannot allow to sit on top of this leg. So I open my heel. Then I can sit this way. So now my leg is free. I will push him back that way, throw the leg over the shoulder, and go for the finish on that position while I'm still holding the grip so he doesn't let go to defend himself. So when you find yourself in the mount position, whenever I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, one grip that I like to make a lot is grabbing the guy's elbows, because this will keep me on top. It's very hard for him to get me out while I'm holding this grip. If he tries to bridge one way, I'm gonna pull the opposite elbow in. You know, sometimes he almost goes, but I pull in and I can manage to stay. So this buys me time, you know, and to see what his reaction will be and what I want to attack. One of my favorite attacks from here is going for the cross collar choke. So from here, what I'm looking for is, I'm just gonna focus on one side. So I start getting my hand in deep on the guy's collar, okay? So from here, as I'm getting my hand in, sometimes I can let go of his elbow and start opening and working both hands on the collar, okay? When I go over his arm, it's very important that as my hand is going in, I'm gonna bring my elbows down, pinning his arms so he doesn't start using them to defend. So I'm on this way, I keep my body on this side, so also is my head. Here, I'm completely safe. If the guy bridges this way, my hand is here, I'm not gonna fall. If he bridges that way, he's not gonna take me because all my weight is to this side. So where you place your weight is really important. So from here, I have to switch sides, because if I stay here, I cannot grab the collar. So from here, I'm gonna switch sides. The first thing that I want to switch is my hand. So from this position, I shift, my hand goes to the other side. Now it works the same way. If it bridges this way, I have this hand in. If it bridges the other way, I'm not getting out because all my weight's to this side, he cannot take me down that way. So then I bring my elbow down and my forehead comes on the mat. Because my head is gonna work as my post. If he tries to bridge, my head will stop the bridge motion by posting here. So now I have this free hand to go. It's the same deal from here. If the gi is right open, I'll put the 4 fingers in and go for the choke. But most of the times, the gi will be closed. So I like grabbing either his shoulder or my thumb in and grabbing here. Okay, but most of the times, I'll just grab right on the shoulder. So my forehead is down. Once I have all my grips, I'm gonna move my head close to his head. Then from here, I start putting the pressure to go for the finish on the mount. So I have the mount position. Right away, one of the grips that I like to make is grabbing the guy's arm. You know, this gets extremely difficult for the guy to escape this. You know, if he bridges, you can always pull. He cannot get sideways because I'm holding him, so the hip escape is not gonna work. So this is a great way to buy you a little bit of time and decide how you're gonna attack him. So when I have decided, I'm gonna go for the choke. I'm gonna let go of one hand and start driving on the opposite collar. Okay, so I go over his hand and I'll reach. I want to grab this hand as deep as I can. When I grab, I cannot keep my elbow open. My elbow right away comes over his hand. I want to have a lot of weight over his arms here, and my hand goes on the mat. My weight stays to this side. This is really important. So if he bridges this way, this is gonna block. I'm not gonna fall because my hand is here. For him to bridge to the other side, he cannot, because since all my weight is to this side, he cannot get my weight and just shift everything to the other side. So from here, I have to switch sides because I cannot grab the other collar from this side. So the first thing that goes is my hand. my hand there. Okay. Once my hand is here, it works the same way as it was on the other side. My head comes all the way to this side, so does my hand, so all my weight's to this side. He cannot bridge that way because my weight, and this side I have it covered because my hand is here. So now my elbow goes on the mat, and I'm gonna switch my hand to my forehead. So then I put my forehead down. So now I have my hand free to go for the neck. Sometimes if the gi is open, I grab 4 fingers in. If it's not, I'll just grab the shoulder. But if I can make this grip, it's always better. Now I close my elbow. Once I'm ready to choke, my head goes right next to his head. And then from here, I start squeezing together, finish. So now we're gonna see how to start setting up the armbar. So I always like to control both of his elbows to buy me time. Okay, so this time I decided to go for the armbar instead of going for the choke. I always like to attack what is easier for me to attack, not what I want, but what the guy is giving to me. This is always the easy path. That's how you should look at it. So when I'm here, this arm that's over on top, it's easier for me to attack at the moment. So from here, what I'm looking for is, as I'm controlling him, as sometimes he's trying to bridge, I'm gonna start putting his elbows together. I wanna put my weight on top of it here. Okay, so now I keep my weight on top, and I'm gonna use 1, 2, I shift my legs, sitting on him. Here is where a lot of people make the mistake is they sit back on their heels. All my weight is off of him. It's really easy for him to bridge into me. His arms are loose. This is where you're gonna lose the position. So when you're here, do not sit on your heel. Keep your weight on him. Keep sitting on his stomach, okay? And keep his arms close together, all right? The best thing about this is the guy cannot switch his arms to defend. So once I'm here, I start to put my stomach against his arm, and now I can let go, so going over to catch. Grab your collar, the other hand, I don't let go, I keep pushing into him, so he doesn't switch the hands to defend. Throw the leg over, and I keep holding the other elbow. So what happened? A lot of times he cannot turn and escape that way. By me holding this arm, it's really hard for him to escape and to defend. So from here, lay down, and I go for the finish, still holding the forearm. So I'm here, I'm grabbing. So I'm here, we got to mount. Every time I'm on the mount position, I don't want to sit so much on the guy's hip, because his basic defense here will be to bridge, and the highest power is on his hip. That's where it's gonna go the highest on his bridge. So I want to sit closer to his chest. When the guy bridges, his chest is not getting off the mat, so it has a lot less power. So I control his elbows, the guy's bridging, I'm here, I'm setting up my attacks. I always attack whatever's easier for me to attack. In this case, it will be the top arm. So what I want to do is, I want to start putting his elbows together, and I really put my weight on it. Okay, from here I'm gonna slide my knee to his head, the other one I turn, and I keep sitting on him. Do not sit on your heel. This starts having a lot of space. He can bridge into you, turn out, he'll put the arm out. This is not good. You want to stay as heavy as possible on him. So I stay with my weight into him, and my hip is pushing into him. Once I'm here, now I can let go. The other hand, I keep pulling his elbow into me, and now I start to work inside to grab my own collar. The elbow, keep pulling the whole time. I'm gonna throw my leg over, then I sit back. By keeping the other elbow, it prevents him to escape by turning his wrist and trying to get to his knees. Okay, I extend this leg down, keep pulling, I like to keep holding his elbow for him not to escape, and then I just lay it down from here, keep applying the pressure while I still hold the forearm. So we get to this position, it's a really common position, you know, either the guy took a bad shot and got here, or you tried to pass in his guard and we fell on this position. All the time here, you see guys so concerned and trying to run to the back, and they forget to attack. But it's a great place for me to attack. His neck's right next to me. I have a lot of options to start putting him in danger here, and I want to make sure I take this. So from here, a lot of times the guy will be concerned on grabbing your legs, you know, not to allow you to run to the back or to get him down, and he's forgetting about his neck. So one move that I really like to do from here, which surprises a lot, is I get my hand under his armpit, okay? So from here, I just keep my hand here. A lot of times I can hold, you know, sometimes I grab on the opposite collar, but this, I just want to make sure I have my hand in the air somewhere. So now from here, I'm gonna start opening my collar. This way, okay? Now I grab right on the tip of my collar, and I'm gonna feed to the other hand.